Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 34 of my podcast, Wellness Musings with Meg. My name is Meg, and I am a fully qualified beautician, a yoga teacher, and a masseuse as well. And today I'm going to be talking about some of the DIY, do it yourself trend things that I see online, and maybe not taking these things so seriously, these beauty hacks and stuff that you see online so seriously. And this is coming from a beautician. So my very first qualification was beauty therapy. It's what I did before I specialized in massage, and it's what I did before I became a yoga teacher. I've been a beautician since about 2016, 2017. So it's something that I've been in the field for a long time, and I've always taken my job very seriously. I still do work as a beautician. So I feel like it's something I can talk about. But I just want to explain a few things because I've seen so many things online, and sometimes it actually scares me. And I think if you're someone that's new in the to like beauty therapy, the industry, or someone who wants to learn more about self-care, I think it's so easy to get stuck in a very dangerous place, to be honest with you. There's been a lot going on in the media, and yeah, there's been some things that have been said, and I actually just want to talk about it because I think it needs to be talked about and explain a few different things from a beautician's perspective. So let's dive straight in, and I will see you on the other side.
Hi, my name is Meg, and you are listening to the Wellness Musings with Meg podcast. I am a fully qualified beautician and yoga teacher who has studied and worked in health and wellness since 2017. I have been obsessed with wellness my entire life and have always wanted to share my passions more. If you love health, wellness, and yoga and want to learn more, this podcast is for you. I will be bringing you all things wellness, from diet and lifestyle to beauty tips and tricks, and of course, yoga as well. So grab yourself a green tea and find a tranquil spot, and let's jump in.
So when I was younger, my first love when it came to the internet was Pinterest. I was obsessed with Pinterest. We're talking about when I was about 11 here. I was getting into beauty, I was getting into makeup, I was getting into all that kind of stuff, fashion. I was a very girly girl, and Pinterest was everything. Like everything I learned on Pinterest. Straight up. When I went to beauty school and to learn how to become a beautician, it was insane how easy I found, especially the first year, because everything that they were teaching us was stuff that I had just found online and had already sort of known about, and it was like second nature to me. And but back then it was different because the idea of the DIYs back then was things like make a face mask from home and stuff like that. It wasn't anywhere near as dangerous as things are now. Social media has got massive since then, and I think ever since TikTok and Reels have been a thing, it has warped. And I think marketing has really taken it by storm. And I honestly think there's quite a few dangerous things out there. And I'm going to give you a few examples of this, and why it's so important to maybe see a professional rather than trying to do things yourself. This is the first thing I kind of want to address from a beautician's perspective. If you're someone who's like just starting out, starting to get interested in makeup, into beauty stuff, I think it's important to just listen to why you should be seeing professionals. I went to college for 3 years. I trained for 3 years, and I my last course, the last year, only 7 people in the whole of England passed that course because it was so difficult. Because that style, they have changed the curriculum now, but that style of curriculum was so hard. I had to learn all my anatomy, all my physiology. We had to do our physical test, or I don't know what you'd call it now. You'd have your online one or your sort of seated exam, and then you'd also have like you'd have to do a treatment in front of an examiner. And to be fair, at the time, I actually smashed it because I was already working in spas like on the side. So to me, like someone coming and having to do a treatment on them was literally just like another day at work. So for me, it was easy. And I think I found the theory test a lot harder than the actual like practical. That's the words I'm looking for. What I mean when I say this is, and the reason I'm saying this is because we don't just go to college for a laugh. When you go to beauty college, it's intense. It's a really intense course, and you're taught how to do everything properly to stop your clients from getting hurt. Because if your client gets hurt, they could sue you. So, this is why you're trained how to do things. It's the same with every other job. But yet, for some reason, the world just seems to think that they can all do what beauticians have been training to do. Um, the beauty industry baffles me so much. We're in a very weird space at the moment in the beauty world where anyone can kind of do any treatment on people. A good example of this is people doing fillers and Botox with a beauty therapy qualification, which, in my opinion, I don't think is okay. I'm sure there are loads of practitioners who are beauty therapists who really have put the work in and are competent and qualified enough to be doing those treatments. Having said that, I would never recommend one of my clients if someone came to me and said, I'm thinking about having Botox and fillers done, I would never recommend them go to a beautician. They need to be going to a nurse practitioner, someone who has been working with injections, needles, someone who has been in that for 7 years, i.e., a nurse practitioner. Because from the beauty therapy background I have, and I have a pretty good knowledge and a pretty good grasp of anatomy and physiology, but never, ever would I feel confident to inject anything into anybody. And I know that the whole idea of the courses is to be able to bring you to that level. But let's be honest here, a 7 year nursing degree is not the same as a day course to learn how to inject into somebody. They're not the same, not at all. And I think that's why we need to be really careful over who we have treatments and appointments with. There was a lady at the end of 2024, around September, who actually died because someone who wasn't a well enough qualified practitioner was doing injectables and probably shouldn't have been. She wasn't a nurse practitioner, she was a beauty therapist with a qualification in injectables, doing injectables in her garden shed like that. I mean, I know to a lot of people that's going to be obvious that you wouldn't go to someone like that. But if you're new to the industry or you don't really understand what you're doing, maybe you're young and you're not quite understanding the impact that these treatments can have if they go wrong, it's very easy to look at how something can be cheaper if you go to somewhere else or do a cheaper option. And it could literally be fatal. For example, when a lot of my friends will tint their own eyebrows and tint their own eyelashes and perm their own eyelashes. Now, if you really, really want to do that, you do you. But when I was at college, we were taught how to do it properly because you can blind somebody, because you're using very, very strong chemicals. And I would never advise somebody do their own eyelash perming or even a lash tint on their own. Also, I've seen people recommending using hair dye to tint your brows. Oh my goodness. And that just it's not designed for that hair. You have different types of hair on your body. Like your head hair is not the same as your underarm hair and your leg hair and your eyebrow hair and your eyelash hair and your nose hair. They're all different kinds of hair. They all come into three different categories. So but you're not taught that. Like if you see someone on TikTok going, "Oh, just use hair dye on your brows." No, please don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. And another good one that I have seen is people doing their own DIY nails. And this really grates on me because you can make yourself allergic to a specific chemical that your that hip replacements are made out of. And if you do that to yourself because you're not using a good quality lamp, like if you bought a cheap lamp online, and this is the thing as well, is that when I see these people recommending that people do this, do your own nails at home, it's so much cheaper. Yeah, but that's because as a professional practitioner, you're paying for someone who A, knows how not to hurt you, B, for the equipment that they're using and the chemicals that they're using, because they need to use high grade stuff that isn't going to hurt you rather than cheaper stuff that could really hurt you. This is why you pay a premium price when you go to a therapist or a proper qualified practitioner or beauty therapist, is because you're paying for the quality. And I think that's so super important. So when you're doing gels, for example, people who do gels at home, you've got to be so careful because if you flood your cuticle, so if your cuticle is the bit right at the end of your nail, right at the base, and if you flood the cuticle or if you've got a cut there, you can get the chemicals that are in the gel into your bloodstream, to put this in really simple terms. And if your lamp isn't a high enough wattage to cure the gel, again, those chemicals can get into your bloodstream. A lot of cheaper, I can't remember the name of the chemical off the top of my head, but more expensive brands don't use this specific chemical. They just will go without it. It's not in there. And this is why, like with eyebrows as well, like someone could be allergic to henna. This is why you do a tint test beforehand. A lot of people don't do that at home. And yeah, I feel like there's a lot of things budget friendly, I'm saying with little quotation marks, that people see online and think, oh, yeah, I'm going to do that. It's such bad advice and it really shouldn't be followed. If you do want to do like your nails at home, do your research. If you do want to do that, invest in good quality products, invest in a proper lamp, maybe even invest in a nail course yourself. If you're planning on doing your nails on yourself, either speak to somebody, a professional who can teach you how to do it and give you like a crash course, or go and do a quick, cheap day course to learn how to do these things on yourself so that you understand theoretically why we have the price tag that we have. Um, that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. And just be so careful with when you see things online. And the other thing as well is people giving advice online who don't have a qualification. Really, really great, because it's dangerous. It's so, so dangerous. People, well, like I said, with the whole doing your own nails. And if you're not careful, you can make yourself allergic to this chemical. And then in the future, if you need a hip replacement, you won't be able to have it because you're allergic to what that hip replacement is made out of. And yes, in the future, these hip replacements that are made out of this specific chemical compound right now, might not be, there might be a replacement or a different sort available in the future. I would imagine there probably will be because there'll be so many people that have given themselves this allergic reaction. But for now, that doesn't exist as far as I know. I know that you can end up not being able to have a hip replacement. And I'm not saying don't get these treatments done. I'm saying get them done by a professional who understands theoretically how things need to be done, why they need to be done the way that they are, using professional grade products that don't contain dangerous chemicals, or if they do contain more dangerous chemicals, your therapist knows how to theoretically and safely use them. And when I see online people recommending even little things, like there's a massive thing going around at the moment about this whole morning shed. I mean, what is going on with that? Guys, you have lymph sitting under your skin, and this is what carries your toxins. You need that lymph to move, so you need your lymph to get to its lymph node, or to the lymph node, to then process the toxins. And the easiest way to move your lymph is by touching your face. Like that move is like a movement. So like if you swipe your face from, like, let's say the corner of your mouth up towards your ear, you're moving the lymph that's under your skin. Whether the pressure is hard or soft, you're moving the lymph. So when you sleep without anything on your face, you're going to move the lymph because as you move in your sleep, it's going to be touching things. It's going to be, your pillow and the duvet. It will help to move the lymph. When you put on a sleep mask that's so tight, plus like these tapes, plus the mouth tape, plus like a neck brace thing or like a chin brace that people are putting on, that lymph can't move. It's literally stuck there and it's not going to move. It's going to create unhealthy skin because your lymph can't process the toxins. And when does your body do most of its regeneration? Between the hours of 10 p.m. and 12 p.m. That's when your skin and your body does most of its healing. This is why it's the most important time to take your makeup off so that you haven't got anything on the skin that, when it's regenerating, it could soak that up. It's when you would target masks. So it's when I have clients and they need like targeted skincare and like put it on between 10 and 12 p.m., sleep with it on because that's when your skin's going to drink up the most. And it's when your body does most of its healing. And healing includes taking your toxins in your body and moving it to the lymph node so it can then be processed and then you can get rid of it. So I think it's really important if you're going to follow beauty advice online to find a practitioner or a therapist who really knows what they're talking about. And don't get me wrong, there are genuinely people on the internet who don't have qualifications, who really know their stuff. But unless you can compare them to people who do, so you can see that difference, you can't tell who is and isn't giving you good advice because marketing can be done so easily now. Now we have things like Canva and editing software all at our fingertips. Anybody can make themselves look like they know what they're talking about. And it's scary because you could take on some really, really bad advice, thinking it's good advice, and really hurt yourself, your skin, your body. So that's what I wanted to talk about in this episode. I know it sounds a bit ranty, but I think it needs to be said because I know I have quite a few people who are new to the like wellness industry who follow or listen to this podcast. And this doesn't, to be fair, cover just beauty therapy. I've talked a lot about beauty, but actually like treatments, but actually this covers diet advice. A lot of people giving diet advice, and it's borderline encouraging eating disorders in some cases, or just really unhealthy habits, or unrealistic habits, or unsafe habits. And it's the same with exercising as well. A lot of people will give advice that might not be the safest advice because they're not qualified to give that advice. This is why we do courses. This is why you have qualifications. Um, so please just be really aware when when you're taking on wellness, beauty, dietary advice, that you're taking it from someone online who really knows what they're talking about, someone who is really going to help you to understand the theory as well. So you can understand why you need to do these things. The amount of times I see posts and they go, let me think of one quickly. If you want soft lips, exfoliate your lips every single day. Well, please don't do that because that's way too much exfoliation. You do not need to exfoliate your lips every single day. This is an actual post I have seen. Exfoliating your lips, brilliant, really good for you. Why is it good for you? Why is that person saying that? They don't grasp and understand why it works and why you shouldn't do it every single day and why you don't need to do it every single day. Basically, what you want to encourage is cell turnover. So, exfoliating your lips once or twice a week will help to kind of get rid of that dead skin, give you plumper lips, but it's not overdoing it because if you over exfoliate your skin, you only have so much skin and your skin will react. It will end up getting dry because it's reacting and because it's like the more immature skin, I guess is the way to say it. You could get chapped lips because you've overdone it and then you get scabs coming up. So these are the things, but if you don't know that, you might just see someone say exfoliate your lips every day. Oh, okay, this page looks really good, so I'm just going to do that. And then you end up hurting your lips and overdoing it. And you can actually scar your lips as well from biting your lips and only over exfoliating. Your lip skin is skin. So you can scar your lips from doing that. So this is why it's important to find people that are going to give you good advice and help you to understand why, and not just tell you do this, do that, but to give you a good, reasonable, scientifically backed explanation. Or if it's something a little bit more boho, like for example, there's a lot of things in yoga that are maybe not necessarily well explained through science, but they can explain it and they can tell you theoretically why you do these things. For example, at the end of a yoga class, I will ask people to roll over onto their right hand side at the end of Shavasana. And there's a reason for that. And I will repeat that reason and I will tell them why so they have understanding. And that's how you should be working. That's how you should be thinking is, okay, why have I been recommended to do this? What's the science behind it? And what can actually happen? I think it's a bit of a minefield if you're new to the wellness world because it is difficult to know where to start. And yeah, it's difficult to know who to get advice from. But I would recommend starting with people who actually have doctorates, and I don't. So, like, if you're listening to this, find doctors, especially if it's for skincare, and then move from there. Find people who either like those pages or they've recommended other people, people who have collabed with them, people who have got science backed behind everything or a good, reasonable explanation that makes sense behind everything. Please do not just take the advice of someone online who you don't know, because there is a reason why people go and get qualifications, why people go to college, why people learn and study before they come into a job, why we have degrees. There's a reason for it. So, yeah, I feel like this has been really ranty, but I didn't want it to come across like that. But I feel like it's a bugbear of mine. And like I said at the beginning, there's a lot of people in the wellness or beginning their wellness journey. And the more I go on social media, and I guess the algorithm knows that I'm interested in wellness and health, the more I get such ridiculous things. And just remember, a lot of people who are, especially on TikTok and Reels, will be trying to create shock value um, videos. They're trying to get views because ultimately they get paid. So, again, finding someone whose main income might not necessarily be TikTok or Instagram or like push selling, so like advertising, getting paid for it, and you'll be able to tell the people who genuinely love a product and genuinely want to help their audience, and the people who are literally just creating clickbait. And like a good example of this is the amount of times I've seen somebody with a pair of scissors at their eyes, looking like they're going to cut their eyelashes, and then you watch the video and they're doing either something completely different or they're then recommending like a lash serum. And please just take things with a pinch of salt, because I even saw someone who claimed they grew their bob, so their hair was at their ears, down to their waist in 3 weeks. Oh my God. The real life Rapunzel does exist, apparently. I was like, there is no oil in the world that is going to make your hair grow from your earlobe to your bum in 3 weeks. The only way you could achieve that is by getting extensions done by a hairdresser, right? Right, right. So please take everything you see online, especially from people who don't have qualifications, certifications, with a pinch of salt. And do your research before you try anything that you have seen or want to try and recommended online. Do your research, find the science behind it, but enjoy it. Like, enjoy it. I love beauty, I love wellness, I love learning about it, and I love practicing it and doing it. I love yoga, like all these different things. I love trying different wellness stuff as well. But I do always, I always, if I'm going to do anything, will like use a credible source. If there's something I want to try, I'm like, okay, I'm going to try it from this person because they recommended it. And always, yeah, just do your research beforehand so you understand theoretically why it's going to benefit you, or theoretically why you need to do it correctly slash pay for a professional to do it, because why it could potentially go wrong. Yeah, if you guys want me to send you any people that I use, recommend, and love their pages for, please drop me a comment. So if you're looking for someone maybe who's really good at skincare, for example, or really good in the yoga community, or really good with like dietitian, what's the word? Advice, that's it. Drop me a comment and I will happily send different accounts that I use and love and have learned a lot from. But I just wanted to really make sure that anybody who's listening to this and new to a wellness journey, just really think about what you're doing before you take advice from someone that you don't know off of the internet. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon, talking with you all again soon. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I will speak to you again soon. Thanks. Bye.